Hey there, this video is a walkthrough of the install process to get third-party custom watch faces onto a Mi Band 6 using the AmazTools app on iOS. This has been a real problem for many people since Xiaomi updated the Mi Band's firmware recently to version 1.0.5.24. And that stopped anything other than the official apps talking directly to the Mi Band on both Android and iOS. And that meant no more custom watch faces, so we were stuck with the stock faces or the faces that you could install through the official app, which I guess is fine if you're into anime characters. So Android users apparently have had a few other choices like Free My Band for getting around this problem, but it was a bit more difficult for iOS users, and when we try to install a watch face using AmazTools, we just get this message saying the latest Mi Band update had broken support for custom faces. Now you can fix this by getting a hold of a special authentication key, which is what Xiaomi uses to connect their official app with the Bluetooth address of the paired Mi Band. But as far as I can tell, it's very specific to both the installed version of the Mi Fit app and the firmware of the Mi Band. And these are usually tied together anyway, so when Mi Fit updates, it seems to force the Mi Band to update its firmware at the same time. So I've tried temporarily pairing my Mi Band to an Android device and using the modified Mi Fit app from freemyband.com to get the key. And it did produce a key, but when I repaired back to iOS and tried the key in AmazTools, I just got an authentication error. I think that's because the modified Mi Fit Android app was version 5.3.1 and the official Mi Fit iOS app was version 5.4.0, which is the version I'm using now. Okay, so to get the correct authorization key, you'll need a few things. Firstly, you need a Xiaomi account, and you'll need to be signed into the Mi Fit app using that account. Make sure you know your username and password because you'll need that later. Also, I'm doing this using Windows 10. Now, a quick note and disclaimer. I'm using an international version of the Mi Band 6. The Mi Fit app version is 5.4.0 and the Mi Band's firmware is 1.0.5.24. It's quite possible these will have changed when you're watching this. So yeah, it's working well for me at the moment, but it might not in future. So all care, but I take no responsibility if something goes wrong. Okay, so let's do this. Getting the authorization key uses a Python script, so you'll need Python installed on your Windows PC. To check if it's already installed, open up a command prompt. You can use the start menu or just type CMD and press enter in the search field. Type Python and press enter. If it's not installed, Windows should open up the Microsoft Store for you and take you straight to the latest version of Python. It's free, so just click on Get, or in this case, Install. That's because I've had it installed before. It'll download in a little while and install, and you shouldn't even need to restart. So jump back into your command prompt and type Python again to confirm that it has installed okay, and just press Ctrl-Z and enter to get back to the command prompt. So now we need to get the Python script from GitHub, but don't worry, you don't need to have GitHub installed to get it, although feel free to clone the repository if you're familiar with that. For most people, you can just browse to the web address. I'll put a link in the description below, and just copy and paste that into the address bar of your browser of choice. I'm using Microsoft Edge for this demo here, just because I haven't cluttered it up with extensions and bookmarks and other stuff yet. So this Python script has been created by the user Argrento, and they've provided all of the instructions for how to get the key for both Amazfit and Xiaomi devices, but it might feel a bit overwhelming for some people, so hopefully this video will make it a little bit easier. We just need to download a zip file of the script, so click on the code button, select download zip, and save the file. It might go to your downloads folder, but I'd recommend putting it in an easy to locate folder somewhere on your local drive. So navigate to the folder in Windows Explorer and unzip the file. Now back in your command prompt, use the cd command to change to that folder. The Python script has a couple of things that it needs before it'll run, so you'll need to enter another command to get them installed. Again, you can just copy and paste this command from the video description. Just ignore all the warnings and enter one more command to start the script. Again, you can copy and paste it from below. Copy the URL into the address bar of your browser and sign into your Xiaomi account with your username and password. You'll get a scary looking warning page telling you that your connection isn't private, but don't worry, you don't need to go any further anyway. So just copy that new URL from the address bar, switch back to your command prompt window, paste in the URL, and the script will handle the logon for you. And if everything goes according to plan, it'll spit out your authorization key. It's quite long, and believe me, it's very easy to make a mistake when you're typing it. I did it several times. So I'd advise copying this and sending it to your iPhone somehow, maybe email it to yourself. Now, on your iPhone, open the AmazTools app and under More, select Advanced Settings, tap on Authentication Key, and enter, or preferably paste, your key. And don't forget the 0x at the start of it. That's really important. Tap Save, and hopefully you'll get a green Authentication Completed message. If you do get an error, it might be because Mi Fit is running in the background. I'm pretty sure I had an issue with that and had to close it before AmazTools would authenticate successfully. So now you should be able to install your favorite custom watch faces on your Mi Band 6 in iOS, either from a downloaded bin file or something like the Amaze Faces app. A couple of other things to mention is that there's a MAC address associated with your paired Mi Band that's used to generate the authorization key, and that address will change if you do a factory reset of your Mi Band, which means you'll have to go through this whole process all over again. Also, keep in mind that the script relies on Xiaomi's servers not changing how they authenticate devices. So while this works at the moment, which is mid-October 2021, they could change or even block this in the future. And finally, I've chosen to turn off automatic app updates on my iPhone, which hopefully will stop Mi Fit updates and consequently the Mi Band firmware updates, hopefully anyway. So that's all. Feel free to leave a comment down below, and thanks for watching.